So recently, I just binged on a Netflix series called The One. And it's basically about Rebecca. She's a scientist, I believe. She used to work in this firm with um, her best friend, and they discovered a way to um, match people based on DNA. And it's guaranteed that if you match, then that is your soulmate.
If this kind of technology existed today, what would you do? Would you use it?
Like half the fun of dating is the chase, right? And the unknown. And
So you want to struggle for it.
I don't want to struggle for it. Not too much.
You want to hunt. You like the hunt.
I kind of do.
You like the chase.
I kind of do.
Or be chased.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. This is Linda.
And this is Will, and I can't wait for dinner.
I'm starving.
You are like trying to eat everything before we even do this episode.
Yeah.
You got to wait though.
Yeah.
But we have a really good dinner tonight.
We have shabu shabu. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Hot pot.
Hot pot is, like the Chinese version. Shabu shabu is like the Japanese version. Basically, if you're not familiar with what that is, or you've never had it before, first of all, what's wrong with you? And secondly, it's delicious, right? It's just this pot of soup that you boil up, and then you put in
anything you want, basically.
Yeah, vegetables, meats, like raw meats, and you cook it in the center of the table, and you pretty much eat it as a group, right? So it's delicious. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I'm so excited for dinner. I'm starving. I just ate like 2 mochis, crackers, I don't know, pocky, is that what you call them? Pocky?
Yeah, a lot of snacks because we went to the Asian grocery store that we like, called Tokyo Central.
Yeah.
Which we haven't been there in
over a year and a half.
Yeah. Yes. So it's been a long time. So
I went crazy on the snacks.
When we went to the store, she was throwing everything in the cart. I'm like, you do know we can come back another time, right? But it was like hoarding snacks.
I wasn't hoarding. I was basically just grabbing one item down the aisle.
Yeah, and then you got double actually because
some of the stuff, the ones I like. You were
worried that it's like, but
what if I finish it before our next trip?
Yeah, so we had to plan basically based on. But to be fair, we don't go out there that often because
it's far. It's like an hour.
Yeah,
it's like an hour to get there, an hour back.
Yeah, from where we're at.
We had sushi. It was delicious.
So we just made it like a little morning fun thing.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the topic today. The topic is called The One.
Well, it's not called The One.
The show is called The One.
The show is called The One.
But the topic could be also The One as well, right? You know how they always talk about like, I can't wait till I find the one.
Yeah.
Right? That's why it's called The One.
Mm.
So what the hell are we talking about? Why don't you tell the audience? They're probably confused right now.
Yeah, okay. So recently, I just binged on a Netflix series called The One. And it's basically about Rebecca. She's a scientist, I believe. She used to work in this firm with her best friend. And they discovered a way to match people based on DNA. And it's guaranteed that if you match, then that is your soulmate. You fall in love with it. So she actually experimented on herself, and she matched with this guy named Matthias. And she went to
That's a cool name, by the way.
Yeah. And she went, this was before it went public, before, she went, pitched the idea to become like a matchmaking service.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she wanted to test to see if the technology worked. And and she matched with this guy named Mateus. She went to go see him. He lives in like a remote island, and she actually fell in love
At first sight, right?
like
Love at
almost
first sight
immediately. They got along. She's never felt love the way she felt, but I guess
with
to
him. Yeah.
the way how they came up with that technology and stuff and the things that play out, she had to keep that relationship basically a secret. But that's the one thing that's always like on her mind is her love for this guy, and he feels the same way, but they just couldn't be together.
Right. And then, of course, with a technology like that, that sounds amazing. Is there's always unintended consequences, right? And
Yeah.
that's what makes the show interesting. Is they show
They
like
play out like different scenarios
Yeah.
of what could happen.
right. So that's why we wanted to talk about it, because it was a very interesting show, and it made us think about, well, what if we did have that kind of technology?
What would the dating world look like?
What would relationships and marriage look like?
Yeah.
And if we had that technology, which it's not entirely impossible, right? Like we were talking about this before, how with the way that technology is going and how fast it's advancing,
I wouldn't be surprised.
right? There's some things now that we have that, if you were talking to somebody 10, 20, 30 years ago, their head would explode, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't even fathom the stuff that we have today. So who knows? Maybe that kind of technology could exist. But my question would be, in the show, I don't think they really specifically said or not, but that kind of technology, and her company's was called what? Match DNA, right?
Yeah, or the one.
company.
Yeah.
And so my question is it all biological that they're matching you with, or is it more than that? Or is it pretty much, if we match you with somebody, that person is perfect in every way for you?
Yeah. I
Like
think
you
that's
said,
what,
soulmate, right?
that's what they made it seem
Okay.
like.
Okay. So
Is
we'll
that-
go with that premise.
is that person is so perfect for you. You'll experience a happiness that you've never felt before.
Wow.
Like it's like that person,
like a drug.
yeah, that person is like
The reason you're on Earth.
basic,
Oh
I
my
guess.
God,
Yeah.
Your soulmate, right? Like you said.
And I can see a lot of people were hesitant to do the task,
Mhm.
and there were a lot of people that were protesting against it too.
Which I could see that happening if it did, if this was a real technology that existed.
Yeah.
There's always going to be people that would be
There's people that were obviously benefiting from that because
right.
They found their perfect match and they're happy, but there were lives that were destroyed because of the technology too.
Exactly. So let's get into the juicy stuff. If this kind of technology existed today, what would you do? Would you use it?
I don't know. That's hard. Just because
Why did you hesitate? That should have been a perfect no. I'm saying when you're married with me.
Okay, then that's a definite yes.
Okay, fine. To be what the? You're right. That was an easy answer, huh? No. Let's backtrack just a little bit. Let's assume that you were single then.
Okay.
Make it easy on you, first case, and then we'll get to. I'll let you re-answer that question. Okay. So if you were single then today, and that technology existed where literally it can, do whatever, find the database of all the humans on this earth, and boom, it spit out a result, and it shows you this person, wherever they're located on earth, that they're a perfect match for you. They were put on this planet for you as your soulmate. Would you use the technology if you knew it existed?
It's kind of one of those things where I feel like I would want to in my head, but then a part of me fears it too. It's kind of like, technology now. There are certain markers that can detect cancer, right? Or your probability of cancer. Of certain types of cancer. And a lot of people don't want to do it, even though they have family history with it. It's a fear.
That's true. That's a really good point.
It's like a fear that
The
Okay,
fear of knowing.
exactly the fear of knowing. What if this perfect match of mine lives in another country?
Then you go see them. What are you talking about?
But
That's an easy one.
but no, but what if I fall in love with them? Do I want to root my entire life just to be with that person?
Yes, because love is everything.
That's
I'm
not
such a romantic,
that's
guys.
not
Like,
necessarily true because I think about, I'm like, how about my
you're
family,
so
my
logical with this.
friends, um,
Okay, they could come to you then.
my
Have them
career.
uproot their whole life.
What
They
if
love you that
oh,
much.
Matthias didn't want to go to
Mateus,
London.
yeah.
Matthias didn't want to go to London to see Rebecca, to be with Rebecca.
Well, that was because his brother. Oh, I guess that's true. The family, then, right? It was
The
a family thing.
family.
There was some reason he didn't. He
Exactly.
ended up staying.
Yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes it's like it may take a little bit to decide if you want to know that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's certain things that I need to think through as well.
But wouldn't that be tempting though? That you're so
Absolutely tempting. And especially knowing my curious soul, of course, like I would want to know, but I don't know if I would have enough courage to actually go through with
Well,
doing it.
here's the thing. Who says you have like see you're thinking of it at I my question was would you use the technology? To me it sounds like it's a yes. It's just a matter of would you actually go meet the person?
No, because
Oh, you wouldn't even
I would have to decide if I want to go through
before
these.
you use the technology.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
once you do it, you can't go back. You can't unsee what you know.
Well, I would probably say yes, I would use the technology, see where that person is, and then and then decide do I and then think about all those things
Because
that you talked about.
No, that's not true. Because if you know that there's a perfect match for you,
Mhm.
right, and you want to do your plan,
Yeah, and
but
let's say
now,
they only live like a block away from me instead of on a different
okay,
country.
no, but let's say they live in another
Okay,
country.
fine.
Okay. And you're like, okay, well, whatever. I don't want to pursue it. Now I'm going to go date other people. But will that ruin all the relationship that comes after? Because you know they're not
They're not the
the
one.
one.
They're not the one. Oof. So you'd rather be ignorant. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? In this case, it would be ignorant is bliss.
Yeah.
But then again, because it actually exists, the technology, and that it's as simple as doing a test, wouldn't that haunt you also? Knowing that at any point, because the same could be said, right? Like you could decide, I'm not going to use this technology and I'm going to start going to date people. But you also, in the back of your mind, are thinking the likelihood that people I'm dating right now is the one is probably very low too.
But if you don't believe in the technology, then
I'm not saying you don't believe in the technology. You're just not planning on using it.
yeah. But
So you're screwed either way. Just when that technology
yeah,
comes
but
out, you're in
think
trouble.
it'll ruin dating for a lot of people.
In what sense?
In the sense where,
It'll probably save a lot of time. What are you talking about?
yeah, I don't know about that, because I could see harm in that too. Whereas what if the person you love, or not the person you love, the one, you're the one that person,
And there's only one
What if-
person
yeah.
that's a perfect match for you on this earth?
yeah. What
Wow.
if they're in a war zone and they died?
Ooh.
You know, that's what happened to one of the characters, the guy that actually created the technology. He came up with the
don't give up
Well,
too
I'm not
much.
gonna
But
give
yeah,
up
give
too
him a little
much.
bit. Yeah.
But so Rebecca is his best friend.
Okay.
The one that started the company is his best friend, and she actually saved the one without him knowing. She matched him without him knowing. She happened to be in a war zone, and she would have died if Rebecca didn't step in and got her out of that war zone.
Oh, interesting.
He would have lost his soulmate.
So your argument is that if you use this technology and you found out who your soulmate is, but then you found out that they died, or maybe even if you contacted them and you became you got into a relationship with them, but they died, then you kind of feel like, where do you go from there, right?
Yeah, you're lost.
Because you know that everyone else that comes after that is not the one.
It's not the one. And I apparently when you meet your the one, you have such a strong sense of connection to them that you've never felt before. You've known this person your entire life, or you know this person before. It's kind of like,
Chemistry
yeah,
is,
it's so strong that it's like they're describing it as a feeling that like it's beyond just love.
wow, sounds intense.
I know. So that's why.
So to lose that would be like a big hole in your heart.
Exactly.
Forever.
Forever. And everyone you date after that.
You're always going to compare them then.
Yeah. And if the world is it's interesting. So if I thought about it, I'm like, if the world is using this technology, so that means that the dating pool is even smaller. So for every person that lost the one, your pool of finding another love is going to be very small.
No, I think yes, you have the one if you believe first and foremost that there's only one soulmate for you out of like 7 billion
But
people
see, that's
on the
not what they're
planet.
saying. The technology changes that.
But let's say that's what I'm saying. The technology says this is your perfect match. But let's say your perfect match is now out of the equation for whatever reason. Something bad happened and, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but you were talking about efficiency, right? Because if everyone is using this technology and finding their true love immediately,
yeah.
how about all the people who lost their soulmates?
Yeah. Like for them, that it just depends on whether they believe the technology so much that they also believe that there is only one person for them, or they may believe that, yeah, that person is like the ideal person, but that doesn't mean that they can't date other people.
I'm not saying they can't date other people.
But then those other people could be someone else's one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. My head hurts.
Yeah. Or
That's sad. That's a sad world.
Or the other people don't want to date you because they know you're not the one. So the dating pool, right? It's only what's left is people who don't believe in the technology.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say then there's always gonna be a group of people or part of the population that's not gonna buy into whatever idea or
but
whatever.
If it's so effective,
mm-hmm.
right, people will buy in over time. So the pool that doesn't believe in
is going to be a lot smaller. Yeah,
exactly. And it's hard. And dating, it's hard as is.
Right.
And to know that you're not someone's the one, and you know it in your head too, because your one is gone.
So you just give up?
You don't give up, but
then you start dating the other people who.
Okay, but is it the same? Because in your head you're like,
of course it's not the same.
You always compare, but that's so sad.
That is sad.
That's so sad. That's kind of like dating, right? And when you break up with someone, in your head, at least you want to continue dating because you're hopeful of finding someone else that you'll love more,
right?
Or that's a better,
quote unquote, better
fitted for you. But
and
now,
you know how like they say like they're like, oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yes.
It's like, actually, dude, there's only one.
And it's that fish is gone.
Oh, so what do you do? That's messed up.
And yeah, so part of being able to have that courage and that willingness to continue dating is because in your mind, I feel like you're hopeful that your next relationship is better, right? There's something to look forward to.
There's another opportunity.
But in the case where if you lose the one, it's never going to meet that standard. So is it easy to just give up and just be like, I don't want to pursue anymore?
Of course.
Yeah. So it's sad.
Yeah, you're making me depressed now. Like this is a dystopian like freaking world that we're talking about. So hopefully they don't develop that kind of technology is what you're saying.
I hope not. I think half the fun.
But what about the people that do find and nothing like bad happens in terms of like there's that person, it does exist. They're still alive and they
Are
pursue
so
it. They
happy.
actually go and find that person. Maybe this is somebody that's been trying to find love for years and they've been single and they do want somebody. But for some reason, it's just like I just don't seem to be able to find that person. And now, boom, press a button. Oh, found you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think that outweighs the people that are in the other scenario that we just talked about, the negative scenario?
Mm,
What,
I
you don't
mean,
want people to be happy?
of
Is
course
that what
I
you're
do.
saying?
Of course I do, but
Just kidding.
my butt is it's just I feel like it takes like half the fun of dating is the chase, right? And the unknown. And
So
the
you want to
uncertain.
struggle for it.
I don't want to struggle for it. Not too much.
You
but
want to hunt. You like the hunt.
I kind of do.
You like the chase.
I kind of do.
Or be chased.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. You're right. Part of the fun for a lot of people is that search.
Yeah.
But there's also the frustration too,
Yeah.
right? There's people that are frustrated with that process. It shouldn't just be so like mathematical, right? Where it's just like,
But what if
I don't know though. I don't know.
What if I match with a person that is not good for me?
But the technology is, you're assuming, right? In this hypothetical world you're talking about, is that the technology is not the issue. It's accurate. It actually finds.
Yeah, you
somebody.
find love. But what if I fall in love with a guy that it's not good? It's not a good person.
So okay, so you are chemically, biologically, that is your soulmate, but your soulmate happens to be a criminal.
A serial killer. I'm so in love with a serial killer. But
you might be.
Yeah, exactly. I might be.
Because your body doesn't.
Because Rebecca is. Never mind. I don't want to ruin it for you. But she's not. I mean, she's done some pretty,
questionable things. Yes. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
But the person would probably still love them though.
Yeah, and they'll love you back.
There you go.
But see,
so that's a twisted kind of love.
But doesn't mean that they're good for me in my life.
Right. That's true.
Or my family's life.
Okay, fine. So let's get back to that question then.
Okay.
In this scenario where this hypothetical world that you and I live in, mm-hmm. we're married, okay?
Yes, I'll use it.
I didn't even ask the question yet.
Okay, ask.
Would you would you use the technology to find the match, even though you are happily married to an amazing man?
Okay, yes, I'm gonna use the technology.
Handsome. Let me remind you. Let me describe. Handsome, smart, right? Witty, funny. What else? Does your laundry and cooks and dishwashes and
that's all new to me. But okay. But okay, if I was single, no. With you, yes.
That's some. All right, I can't cuss on this.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. That's a hard one because I feel like if I said yes to the technology and try it, it might break the relationship.
Would you ask me if it's okay to look for your one?
I don't know. That's a hard one. If we were happy,
so you would sneak. That's cheating.
No, I have not.
That's cheating.
I don't even know about my use of the technology. I know, okay, close your ears if you're planning on watching it. But
oh man, all right. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Okay, so
spoiler alert.
There was a couple on the show. They're married, and she was curious to see if. So this is the couple that everyone's disgusted by because they're so happy and it's just they're so lovey-dovey and
the perfect couple.
The perfect couple.
Relationship goals.
Yeah, their relationship goals, right? But she was insecure in herself and she decided to take a strand of his hair and submitted him for the match.
She stole his DNA.
Okay, a piece of hair. Relax.
That's DNA. Okay. And she submitted it without his permission.
Okay, anyway, so...
That's dirty.
So if it turns out that his match is not her, it's someone else that lives nearby and she
Oh, in the
stalked.
same city,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
she stalked her and befriended her.
Oh, that is some
Went to
psycho
the
stuff.
same gym, met, had coffee with her, and she did everything in her powers for the two to not meet. But listen, and they were friends. Well, she was trying to get to know her through the phone. She even went over to her house one day and stole one of her bras and had and see if her husband was like attracted to the scent or something.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah,
and
I
so
remember
she
that.
and she did everything in her powers to not get her husband to meet, but her husband thought they were friends because she's always like
Talking to
talking to her
her.
on the
Yeah.
phone and stuff. And the husband was sweet. He was planning like a surprise birthday party for his wife. So he called, his match,
But he didn't
basically.
know it was
He
his
didn't
match. Yeah.
know, and invited her to the birthday party. And they met.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. She did everything to try to keep them from meeting. But by doing that, she actually made it
She
happen.
said, made it happen.
She was the cause of them meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
that, first of all, that's some that's kind of like stalker psycho level.
yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
But to be fair though, love kind of makes you do some crazy stuff.
Because I guess I see it from her point too. It's
Yeah. I take that back. I don't want to call her like.
No, because it's like this technology exists, right? And so it's like one of those
It does
things.
make you think.
What if he's marrying the wrong person?
I don't think she was thinking that. I think she was just more insecure about, I want to know what's so good about this girl and what does she have that I don't have.
Well,
Like, that's how I would probably feel.
That's true. That's true. And then when she met this girl,
Like, you're sizing them up, it's kind of like, like, for example, like, not to sidetrack too much, but like, for example, if you are in a relationship, even though you already have this person in your life, love is crazy, right? So like, I would be like, who was her ex? What does he look like? What did he do? How successful was he? How much money does he have? Right? Like, I would be curious, right? If I'm insecure about myself, I'd probably want to find out. I'd find them on Facebook, stalk them, just so that I have an image. And it's like, oh,
that's not creepy
they're not that great. I'm better. Kind of. I'm just trying to put my frame of thought in there.
But she did. But then the sad part is that she found this girl was gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She's smart. She's, perfect. So it made her even more insecure now.
Right. She felt intimidated by her.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, hell no. Like, they definitely can't meet. Right.
So what happened was he met his match eventually. He felt like he knew her. They had an intense attraction.
Yeah.
His wife confessed to what she had done. And
that she basically stole his DNA.
Yeah.
And stole his DNA and sent it off to a lab without his permission and found his soulmate.
Yeah. And he actually,
even though he
did not, he was opposed to it.
He was opposed to the idea. I think they had talked about it, right? They both agreed that no, we're not going to, look, I already have you.
Yeah.
Why do I need to find? I don't care about finding the one. I don't care about that.
Yeah, and he actually told his the one, and they had an intense attraction to each other. But and his relationship, his marriage, suffered greatly. But
you're so cute. You're like the one. We're just gonna call him the one. Is their soulmate?
Okay, soulmate. Right? Yeah, whatever. And what happened was
they kissed.
I think they more than kissed. But that's not the point. The point is eventually he came to his senses and he chose his wife and he ended the relationship.
What do you mean he came to his senses?
Well, he thought
after he cheated on her.
Well, yeah, that's an asshole move, but okay, I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, he came to his senses.
He made a conscious decision.
Yeah, right, and he decided that he's gonna go stay with his wife.
Wow. See, so did he? But here's the thing I want to know, which I don't think the show explained, was did he make that decision out of guilt, or did he make that decision
Because he truly
because he
loved.
truly loves
Yeah, it's probably a
his wife,
combination of both.
right? Like, because that's a tough one. You know what I mean? Like, let's say, because in the show, I don't know how long they were married or how long they were together, but it felt like it seemed like the show made it so that they were.
They were
It hinted like they were together for
for
a
a
while,
while
right?
and very serious, and they're very loving and very happy.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, did he
Yeah.
just feel guilty? Like, hey, I've been with this woman for so long,
And she's madly in love with
even
me.
though I am like so attracted to this other girl, right? My soulmate,
Mhm.
and I know she's my perfect match, but I'm still gonna choose my current wife because I feel like I almost owe her,
Yeah.
or I feel obligated, or I would feel bad.
But here's the twist though. She apologized to the girl that she basically hurt by matching her husband to her and stalking her friend. So one of the scenes, it showed that one of that girl, when she went to go apologize, she pretended to give her like a hug and actually stole a piece of her hair and sent it in.
So she went to get payback.
Yeah. So my question is now is, once the result comes back and she finds out that her husband is not her, well, she knows her husband is not her match, but what if her match presented himself? Will it ruin the relationship?
Yeah, because so in this scenario, it was the wife that decided to take the husband's DNA to find his match.
Yeah.
But you're saying now it's reversed, basically.
No, not the guy. The girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
The girl took her DNA and sent
the
it
wife's
in.
DNA.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now my question is, if
she knows who her match
her
is.
soulmate shows up and the guy's soulmate is still around,
would they just break up and go with
what would happen?
their soulmates? I don't know. I mean, that's what the show leaves for interpretation, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So let's say if you're not with your soulmate or the one.
Yeah.
Are you ever truly happy? Or is that a question in your head where you're like,
I wouldn't take the test. I wouldn't want to know the one. You're already the one.
Now you're lying. But good try.
Good try. I would be curious.
You know what's the one for me?
Huh?
You know that cute little purse? That Chanel.
What does this have to do with anything?
It's like, that's how I feel about the one, you know? So if you want to buy...
the one for you is actually a purse. Got it.
Yeah, so if you want to, present me with the one...
Wow.
You know which one I'm talking about.
I think we're getting sidetracked now.
No, it's not. It's what true love feels
We're talking about soulmates.
Yeah, that is...
Same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. The perfect match? Gotcha,
exactly,
gotcha.
Yeah.
I like how you always sprinkle that in somehow. Like just...
From investments to
Yeah.
love to everything.
Yikes. Yeah, it's a tough question. I mean, the very fact that you know that tech exists, but I don't know. I feel like I really do think it would be better to not open Pandora's box, because although I would be curious, I think by not knowing and not seeing what's inside, right? What's the result? I'm going to be less curious overall, because if I'm happy in the relationship I already am in, and especially if we've invested time, we've probably been through some stuff together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've grown as people together. And although there's maybe this chemical, biological perfect match for me or this person that's out there, I have a choice whether or not to open that box. And if I'm already happy, I probably, to save heartache and all that stuff, I'll probably just leave it alone. Now, if I was single, you bet you're you bet you're behind. I'm going to
really
check it. Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm going to act on it right away.
Interesting.
But I'd still probably think about it,
I'm just scared. I'm just scared that what if my V1 passes away, or my V1 is a
Yeah, there's that
serial,
risk.
or my V1 is a serial killer,
Oh my
or
god.
my,
You go immediately for the dark stuff.
of
Like
course, you know,
instead of thinking about how beautiful it would
okay, I'm
be and
very
like
realistic. Okay, I'm
how
very
like
realistic.
how much fun we're gonna have, how we're gonna build a family, how beautiful
But
our kids are
but you
gonna
have to
be,
recognize,
and you go straight for like, what if he's a serial killer?
yeah. What if it's a serial killer? What if he died? What if I
See,
don't
I'm
know.
the optimist in our relationship for sure. You always go for like, but what if this goes wrong? What if
But
this
see,
goes wrong?
we have to recognize one thing. Just because you're in love with someone doesn't mean they're good for you.
No, absolutely.
So
We've seen that
just
in
because
even without this technology, right? Like
exactly,
relationships today. You have
just
people that are with a bad person,
yeah.
but they're like really, really in love with them.
See, that's what I'm afraid of. Is what if I fall in love, madly in love with someone who is not good for me?
Yeah.
But this intense chemistry clouds my judgment on what is good for me.
But then at that point, you just because you're attracted, let's say when you're attracted to them, near them, then you just distance yourself.
That's not true, because you're so biologically attached
So
to
you
this
turn
person.
crazy? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You can't even be logical anymore?
It's not, no, you continuously think about,
Obsess
obsess over them, because Mateus,
because of the feeling you had,
yeah,
that strong connection.
like she's not good for him for all the things that she's done to him, but then yet he cannot get over her because the connection was so strong that he was never able to move on.
And is that connection based on their interaction, or is it based on physical, like looking at each other
No,
and being near each other?
no, their interaction.
Their interaction.
So even though they're like, thousands of miles away from each other, he
Yeah.
cannot stop thinking about her, even though all the
So I was trying to think about what's the workaround. Like, what if they don't see each other, but it's texting? It's like or emails. You just send emails back and forth. Somehow, his email or her email is gonna like still charm the heck out of you.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
They're so attractive. It's like you meet that person.
This is so odd to me.
I
Like
know.
the thought
Like
of
you
it.
meet that person that one time, because they technically only met once, and they just fall so madly in love that it's like they can't
They
get
can't
that.
help themselves.
They can't not think about that moment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that's what
So
I'm
you
saying.
wouldn't open Pandora's box, basically.
I don't know. I say yes because I'm married to you. And I just thought that was a funny thing to say, but knowing me, how logical I am, I probably would not have done it.
I'm curious what other people would do, because it is right. It's like what seems like this gift could actually be like what seems like this blessing could actually be a curse in disguise, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't think about it. It's like sometimes we just think about what are all the good stuff that can come for it, like me, like, right? Like I'm optimistic about it. But then you being a little bit more realistic
and logical.
Okay, let's not get carried away. You're considering what's the downside, what's the dark side that I'm not seeing, right? Which is true.
Yeah.
But it's just weird, because then to me it's like, at what point is there a choice, right? At what point is it under your control? So even if you're thinking about that person, clearly in the show, even, right, Mateus, he decided to stay, right, in a different country. It was fine.
It wasn't fine.
No, he only came back to see her because
But I know, but he wasn't
of something
happy.
else.
He was constantly talking about Rebecca, and Rebecca constantly talks about him and how sad she felt because they're not together.
It feels like you're missing a piece of yourself.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
After. Oh man, I don't know.
And I just feel like sometimes knowing something,
you can't unknow it.
And number two,
or
it always
unsee it, right?
Yeah, and it always dictates on the way you behave through the rest of your life.
That's crazy.
So I think
rather not even.
I would rather just not know. Period. And yeah, and it's like.
Would you want to know me? Like same thing in that example.
What do you mean?
Would you find out who my the one or soulmate is?
No, because I don't want to obsess over that.
So either way,
Yeah.
and we would make an agreement in the relationship.
Yeah. I think I would have to say no to it. And I just don't want to destroy, like our relationship, something that's already good.
Yeah, because who's to say that what you have isn't real love?
Yeah.
It is real love.
It is real love. It's a choice. It's a choice that I made.
Right.
And I don't like.
And you're by not using the technology, you're also choosing the person who you're with now.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just don't like knowing that there's something external, something I can't control that dictates, how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like with that technology is so powerful that it can just steer my life into a different direction that I may not have wanted for myself.
Yeah, because I could see, like, what about people that have kids together?
Yeah. And what if they had kids? They have kids, they're happy.
Yeah, everything is already great, but the temptation is there to find out.
And that can make the whole family fall apart.
See, here's the thing, right? So like it's kind of like with dating now, with online dating, for example. We've talked about this before, where you have an app and you can have a great date with somebody and everything is great. You could pursue that. But somewhere in the back of your mind, you know that there could be someone better.
And it's only a swipe away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's kind of like, yeah, you may be happy with your current relationship.
But I know I could be happier.
And it's like with the technology, it's guaranteed that there is somebody that is a better match, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But that's where your choice comes in, right? Is you can choose. It doesn't mean you'd be choosing like where you're at in a great relationship or technically a better relationship.
Mm-hmm. But
quote unquote,
I'm not gonna discount.
But how do you define better?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna discount that technology and say, let's say if it does exist one day, like I could see it being beneficial to, like you said, like people who have been struggling.
People that choose to use it, right?
Yeah, and people who have been struggling to find love, right? And that's what they truly want.
Because I think the person building the technology has a good intent with it, right? Like that's who they're trying to help, is people that are looking for love, to help them find their perfect match, isn't it?
Well, I think the scientist guy, he's a good guy, but Rebecca takes it to another level,
right?
Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah. So there is benefit. There's still positives to it.
Yeah.
If someone chooses to use it.
Millions of people found love from that technology. But then, there were a lot of lives that were destroyed because of that too. Mm-hmm. So it goes both ways. So that's it's always a choice.
Right.
So you have to do what's best for you.
So I guess that's kind of the takeaway, right, from this episode. And if anything, I know obviously we're talking about a fictional scenario here now.
But it's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun topic.
Yeah.
And if the technology ever becomes available or something similar to it, I would be very curious to see how many people. I would feel like a lot of people would actually try it.
Mm-hmm. Same.
If for anything else other than to satisfy their curiosity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of like the DNA test, like those kids.
The ancestry?
It tells you.
Something, what is it
called?
How
many percentage of, which country you belong to or something.
What's the company called again? Or whatever. People know what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we don't need to say
it's very, very popular.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you can make a decision to find out or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Okay, guys. Well, if you enjoyed that episode, please do make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, as well as all of the other audio platforms, because we are on all of them at this point.
So make sure you subscribe and follow us on Instagram. We do post stuff here and there. Fun
At
stuff.
Magnetic Mismatch.
At Magnetic Mismatch. Yes. And please make sure to share our content with your family and friends.
Yep.
And thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, and remember we do release new episodes every Thursday, especially now that we're back on our break from our break. Make sure to tune in every Thursday. Okay, guys.
Until next time,
Bye,
bye.
guys.